Oh, you think you got away?
This episode contains strong language, emotional themes surrounding grief and loss, and discussions of the paranormal that may be distressing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment purposes only, and any personal or shared experiences are discussed respectfully. Now, grief is a strange thing. It doesn't knock, it doesn't ask permission, it just happens. One minute they're there, the soft pat and a pause, the quiet comfort of their presence, and the next, silence. But what if the silence isn't empty? What if the bond we share with our pets doesn't end when they leave this world?
Tonight, we're stepping into something deeply personal, something tender, but still touched by the unknown because love, real love, doesn't just disappear. And for some, that connection can still be felt, even beyond the veil. We're joined by our very special guest, Ray, a dog psychic and intuitive who believes our pets never truly leave us.
As someone who investigates the unexplained, I'll be honest, this is a different kind of haunting. Not dark, not threatening, but emotional. People all over the world report signs, feelings, even communication from pets they've lost. Is it grief? Is it energy? Or is it something more?
Ray not only connects with animals, he lived the loss himself. Through his blog, The Passing of Sweetie, he shares a story that is raw, real, and painfully beautiful. If you want to explore his work, you can visit his website, which is down below. Also, is ENPAWTHRAY period MAYEHEM.my. I spelled that out so it's easier, but it is down below.
Yes. So tonight, we open the door carefully to love, to loss, and to the possibility that ones we've lost may still be closer than we think. But before we get deeper in tonight's episode, let's ground ourselves.
Fuel your body and mind with strong coffee company, clean energy, smooth taste, and the perfect companion for those late night conversations with the unknown.
Get 20% off with our link at strongcoffeecompany.com/discount. Use our code host, and yet again, that is down below. Don't forget to use host, HOST.
Stay present because tonight might hit close to home.
Whether you're here for answers or just understanding.
Just know you're not alone in what you feel.
This is Harlots of Spooktalk.
Welcome to Harlots of Spook Talk. We have a special guest, Ray, tonight. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Yes, my name's Ray Robinson. I am what I call an empath. I'll just a clever play on a word. Basically, I am a dog psychic. I have had this ability all my life, but I've only the last few years really been focusing on developing it and turning it into a hobby that I can actually access when I want to, rather than when a dog comes up to me and initiates conversation. So it's just a little something I'm trying to build into my repertoire uh, of work.
Nice.
Very nice. How did what? Okay, so I'm just gonna ask, like, what got you into this? Like, what inspired you? Like, when did you realize? you know, like when?
Um, with the benefit of hindsight, it's been something that I've had all my life.
Mhm.
I remember early instances of talking with a dog when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and not really knowing what I was doing was an unusual thing. And it was only a few years ago. I'm 55 now, and I believe it when I turned 50 or so. I was talking with a dog that I had at that time. She was a rescue, and we didn't know too much about her. And at one point, I was telling my wife that, yeah, but she's had 3 litters. We can go ahead and get her spayed. And she was like, "How could you possibly know that?" And I basically, without thinking, I said, "She told me." And when I said that out loud, that's
Oh,
when I kind of realized that's unusual. And my wife is a lot more tuned in to anything that's a little more supernatural. I've always been the steady rock person. If she wants to get away from anything that like ghosts and such, she'll come to me because I never see them, and they for some reason avoid me. Um, but that was the first unusual supernatural type of thing that I've really recognized in myself in any capacity. And at that point, I started to pay more attention to it and pay attention to what I was receiving and what I was communicating with dogs. And it just kind of blossomed from there.
Interesting. That's really cool.
In your experience, do pets understand when they're about to pass, and do they try to communicate with their owners as they're about to pass?
I can't speak with too much authority on afterlife, but I can talk about some of my personal experiences with some animals that I have had that have passed, and I always have felt their presence afterward. And I think it's when it builds up in your memory, um, that's when it manifests a little more solidly in your mind. When if you think about the animal that you had, in my case, mostly dogs, but we've had some cats too. But I've never really been that good in talking with cats the way that I have been with dogs. Um, I once got a baby seal to talk to me once, but that was,
Really?
oh,
that was
cute.
one
Wow.
time, and I've never been able to repeat that with any other animal. Um, but but whenever I think of a particular dog, the one that kind of started me on this path was a beagle named Sweetie. Whenever I think about her, the memory of her feels a little bit more solid and substantial than the memories of other pets that have passed.
Hmm.
And we had a strong connection in communication. She regarded herself more as my wife's dog than me. I was just a means of communicating with my wife. Uh, and
Oh,
so, but I could actually, when I put some thought into her, I can feel a little more of a solid presence regarding her. So I can only attribute that to the connection that we had established, and I can't see where that would be any different for anybody else that had had a strong connection with a favorite pet.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. But I'm glad you brought it up. So, your blog, The Passing of Sweetie, is incredibly emotional. What made you decide to share such personal story publicly?
Um, Really just more of an example of what I've been able to do. And Sweetie is the only one that been able to really go to that level of a depth with. I'll give the kind of the Cliff Notes version of what happened with Sweetie. Sweetie is the beagle I was mentioning earlier. She was a rescue, and we didn't know much about her. But over time and spending time with her, I got to learn a lot about her. She was when she was rescued by the lady that we got her from. The lady had noticed that she was chained up outside in 2-degree weather, and she went to the guy that owned Sweetie, and she said, "You can't leave this dog outside; it's going to freeze to death." They got into a fight, and when the fight ended, he basically said, "Well, if you care so damn much, why don't you just take the dog?" And so she did. She just went. there,
Okay.
unchained him, took her with him, but she already had like 4 dogs of her own, several other animals, and Sweetie didn't get along with a couple of the other dogs, so she posted her online to find a good home, and that's where we had decided. My wife, who's always been a cat person, knew that I was missing a dog, and so she said, well, let's get you a dog. And little did we know we were getting her a dog, because one of the things that I found out was that she did not like men.
Oh,
She tolerated me because I could communicate to my wife what she needed, what Sweetie needed, and so I was a means to an end more than her uh, adult companion. Um, but I did spend a lot of time with her and worked on my craft with her a little bit. A good example of one of the things that kind of surprised me, I was taking her for a walk, and about 5 or 6 houses down from us, she just stops cold and stares at the house, and she is giving me all kinds of fear vibes. And so I started asking her, what is the matter? And that's when I smelled the smoke of marijuana coming out of the house. And normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but she recognized that smell from the man that had her chained up out back, that basically beat her several times. Whenever she barked, she would be beaten, which is why she was the quietest beagle I ever knew, because she just did not feel confident in using her voice because she was always afraid that I would hit her. And there was no way you could tell her that I wouldn't do that because she wasn't going to believe me.
yeah.
Experience told her otherwise. But because she smelled the marijuana, she suddenly just froze out of fear, and I had to basically pick her up and move her along. As far as the passing of Sweetie, one of the things um, that I was dealing with shortly after we got Sweetie was I would experience a dream. In the dream, I was locked in the passenger seat of a car. I could never turn and look at the driver. I could only face forward at the dashboard or turn towards the door. And when I looked out that door, I saw a giant black truck bearing down on on us. I couldn't open the car door. I couldn't roll the window down. I couldn't tell whoever was driving to move. And the dream would always end with the car hitting us, just severe pain in my head, and but only for maybe a second at the most. It was usually just that quick, but it was distinguished. I would wake up in pain, shake my head, try to say that was horrible. I never want to experience it again, but it kept happening. Eventually, it would happen while I was awake too, but only that last second when the big black truck would hit where I was, and the pain. And if I tried to just manually think about it, like right now, if I tried to think about that dream, I can picture it, but I can't feel the pain that I was experiencing. Then, after a couple years of with Sweetie, though, we were moving to a new house, and while we were moving, we were only going to be gone 20 minutes, and so we let her play in the backyard. Unfortunately, beagles are very good escape artists. She had gotten out, and while we were gone, she was hit by a car and killed. And when we came back home, somebody had brought her up onto the sidewalk so she wouldn't get hit further. But we, of course, we hated ourselves for quite a while for that. A couple of days later, when we were finishing packing and getting ready to go, one of our neighbors that always sat out on the porch, and just she was the nosy neighbor that would see and hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
Loved her gossip, but we came over to say goodbye to her because we were moving across town, and she said, "Yeah, I saw your dog get hit the other day," and I was like, "I don't really want to hear about this." But she goes, "Yeah, that big black truck just never stopped," and I was I was gobsmacked because I instantly knew that for 2 years before it happened, I was experiencing Sweetie's last moments. Whether she was intentionally sending that to me or not, or if there was just something with a connection that I had with her, I have no idea. And I still don't know. And I'll be honest with you, because of that pain that I was experiencing, I honestly never want to do it again in that capacity. I felt privileged, and I feel like I was given a special gift in that moment to be with her essentially at the end. But it's not something I really want to go through with another animal. So, fortunately, the two dogs that I have now, they've never that's never happened with them. I probably don't have as deep connection as I did with Sweetie, but I've been able to glean a lot from both of them as well, and and so I've been using them as practice, and now I've been trying to expand what I've been able to do with other dogs that I run across. I'm also soliciting people to send me videos of asking their pets questions that they would like to have answers for. And right now, since I'm considering this my university, I'm trying to train and improve my ability to do it on command. It's not something that I'm really charging anybody for. If I have to go to somebody's house locally here in Louisville, I'll probably just ask for gas money or something. And there's always a tip option. But it's
Tip
since I'm
options are
considering this my schooling, it's more like I'm paying my own way by doing practicing and honing the skills that I have.
Yeah, we completely understand that. That's how when we did readings, me and Carly years ago. We did them for years, and that's how we
Yeah.
started. We would just do tip based. We wouldn't even do tip based. So I think we waited like a
No, we
year
just
before we
free.
even
Yeah.
did tip based. You
Mhm.
know,
We just got online and did them for free.
the best thing you will learn though, word of mouth. That's the best way to go. And you don't see this a lot where you are able to communicate with animals. Like I always have an idea of what they might be saying, and it's usually like, "Oh, you're gonna give me sass," but I don't know. So that's a really good gift to have. That's really nice.
And I've always been one of those folks that believes if one person can do it, another person probably can learn it. Um, there are people that teach animal communication. There's actually a lady here in Louisville that's kind of world renowned for it.
Mhm.
I'm doing my own slow and steady approach to it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just basically trying to feel it out myself. And the one thing that I've taught myself is that if you get an impression of something and you have no idea where it came from, check with your animals. Because there have been many a times where I've been walking and I get the impression of somebody going, "Hey," and I just stop and look around and there's a dog staring at me.
I kind of wondered if that was kind of like, a spirit. Sometimes you'll get spirit. A lot of the times you'll get spirit, and they'll be like, "You can see me."
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if like animals are like that. They're like, "Do you know what I'm saying?" Like, do they talk like? And I'm just gonna ask, like, do you feel like they talk just like we humans do? Like,
Yes and no. It's really more of the way I always like to refer to it is have you heard of bone induction? It's basically like headphones, but instead of going through your ears, it actually communicates through your bones.
yeah, okay,
It's
yes,
similar to that, at least in the approach. It's that you're hearing something, but it's not in a traditional way. And every dog that I've had, the two that I have now plus Sweetie before, have communicated to me in different ways. With one of the things that I found out because I didn't know what it was, and I think it's a relatively new phenomenon. There is not new as in just known, I should say, newly known, is a condition that people have called aphantasia. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I'll run you guys through a real quick pace on that. If you close your eyes for a second and try to picture an apple in your head, Just actually picture it, the thought, not a actual photograph or a drawing, whichever way you approach it. Now, can you describe what the apple looks like? Can you describe the color, the texture of it, any kind of glean from the skin? If you can, you don't have aphantasia. When I try to picture something in my head, I can't see a thing. However, when I do get a picture in my head, then I know that it's not coming from me. So, and Sweetie is really good about that. Sweetie would give me a landscape, and I would start kind of focusing on specific areas of the landscape, and she would give me the impression of hot or cold. Like you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer. Yes, this is the part that I want you to see. And she would guide me in that way. My black lab, he's a black lab mix named Henry. Um, he will give me flashes of pictures, just one specific picture. He'll get very specific when he communicates with me. And then I have a Australian Shepherd dog named Dodger. He's about 4 years old, and he is probably the closest it comes to communication through words and concepts that appear in my head. And I, the problem is he's still kind of young. He's still learning his voice.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of getting anything out of him has been probably the biggest challenge. And I like working with him because he pushes me really hard to get detail. But when I do get it, I get a treasure trove of it. I had to laugh the other day because, well, not the other day. It was about a month or two ago. When I take him out for walks, anytime somebody goes by on a bicycle, Dodger starts barking like crazy at them. And the only time I can really get him to open up is if we're both relaxed, like if we're both laying on the bed, it's 2 a.m. Sometimes I've had an edible. That helps me quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But I asked him, I was like, what is it about people on bicycles that is making you so mad? And he just said to me, no, I'm not mad. It just reminds me of Lucas. I got a name, Lucas. Who's Lucas? Apparently, the only thing that we knew about Dodger when we got him from the animal shelter was that he was found walking alongside the road, just happy-go-lucky. And they picked him up and they brought him in and got him ready and we eventually found him through the adoption process. But so we didn't know anything about him. But what I had learned from him was that he was part of a litter of 3 dogs that worked on a farm. They had a really long driveway from the main road up to their house, and every day the farmer's wife had a younger brother named Lucas and I believe he was special needs. And this is all stuff Dodger's telling me. And I mean, these are the kind of things you can't learn from pictures. You only get from words and concepts. He basically said every day Lucas would come to their house on his bicycle. He'd stop and pick up the mail, and then he would ride his bicycle all the way up the long driveway to the house. And when they saw him, when he and his 2 brothers saw him, they knew that when Lucas got to the house, they'd all play together. And so he was excited anytime he saw a bicycle because he thought whoever's on that bicycle is going to play with him. So he would be barking because he wanted them to come closer, or he wanted to run over there and run alongside them.
That is sweet.
So I felt a lot better about him barking. And now I tell him, look, when they go by on a bicycle, I'm like, that's not Lucas. He doesn't want to play with you. Your method of playing is a little rough. So especially when you go charging right at them.
Right. They're like, dog's coming after me, And he's like, I just want to play.
He's 80 pounds. Henry is 100 pounds. I've got a leash where They both are tied into it and they can crisscross and not tangle each other up. But if they both focus on something, I've got nearly 200 pounds of dog trying to pull me in a certain direction.
Oh, no.
So, which is fine until I run across a dog that's not on a leash and they get a little aggressive with each other. But yeah, um, that's one of many things, and actually that kind of brings up another point when it comes to um, dogs not dogs leaving your life, and not necessarily passing on in this case. But one of the things that I got from Henry about 2 months ago, um, I learned that, well, one of the things we knew about Henry, we actually probably had the most history of any dog knowing Henry. He being 100 pound black lab mix, a lot of homes couldn't have him. So he was fostered quite a bit. He had been in 3 other foster situations before us. There was a home that they found a permanent home for. Unfortunately, they were forced to relocate. They had to go to an apartment and they couldn't accommodate a dog that big, so they had to return him. And that's when we kind of came into his life. He actually was one of 2 dogs that came up to me because when we lost Sweetie, it was about a week later. We went to the pound to just get some dog therapy, but I had not yet grieved Sweetie's loss. And the first thing that I saw when we walked in were 2 beagle puppies, and everything with
Oh,
Sweetie
bless
hit me
you.
at once.
Yeah.
And I am not ashamed to say that I turned into a blubbering mess on the floor. I mean, I literally just dropped and could not stand. I was crying so hard. So
Oh,
they they helped me get up and go into a visit room, and they're like, "Can we just bring you a dog? Maybe that'll cheer you up." And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be very nice. I'd like to see a dog."
that's so
Um,
sweet. Like, I think sometimes our pets, I think they just choose us, and that's the best way to go. Like,
they
I seen,
do.
I seen this video. I don't know what happened to me, but I did the same thing because everybody was at the shelter, right? And these dogs pick their owners.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh my God, that's so sweet. Start bawling. But
Yeah.
I think,
When I
yeah.
was in that room, they brought a dog that was already scheduled to be adopted, but apparently he was the sweetest dog that they had. So they figured that was a good one to cheer me up, and that dog did a really fine job. And I, of course, congratulated him on finding his forever home and coming to pick him up in a day or two. And then they brought Henry in next, and Henry was just as sweet and caring and loving. And I was sitting on the ground just being a blubbering mess, and he'd come up to me and lick the tears off my face. He'd go over to my wife uh, and lick her hands, and then come back to me and lick me a little bit more. He was patient with me, and that's what I needed in that moment. And so we brought him on board. But it was only a few months ago. We've had Henry now about 2.5 years. But it was only a couple months ago when I was in the front room. My wife was on the bed with Henry, and he just started panting like crazy. And my wife was saying, "Ray, come in here. I think there's something wrong with Henry." And I go in, and yeah, he's just sitting still, panting, and just a bundle of anxious energy. And so it took a while to get out of him what it was that was bugging him. And I finally got the concept of pain from him. And I'm like, "Okay, where are you hurting? I need to know this and get you to the vet." And he's like, "No, no, 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 owner." And I'm like, "But I'm fine and Brittany's fine." He's like, "No, other owner." And after talking with him a little bit more, I found that one of his previous fosters, um, the one of the people that he had there, was actually experiencing some sort of pain. I don't know if it was a heart attack. I don't know if it was a fall and a broken limb, but it was some sort of pain that he was still connected to that person,
Oh,
and he was picking up on, and he wanted to go help, but there was no way for us to know who it was, so we couldn't just take him somewhere around here to find the right person. So we basically just both held on to him and just let him just kind of get through it. It took like a half hour or so, and he finally calmed down enough that he finally was able to relax, and he just fell asleep from exhaustion. But that was the first time I ever got the idea in the hint that even after even after your pet is no longer with you by your side, you're still connected, and that only makes sense for not only our plane of existence here, but other planes of existence that we might move on to or they might move on to. I can't believe otherwise at this point.
I completely agree with that. Like there has to be like like a heaven for animals for sure. You know.
I
Well,
like to think that we all come from and return to the same place, and that includes all forms of sentience, whether it is whether it's a lizard, whether it's a bird, whether it's a human.
oh,
I think we all come from the same energy, return to the same energy. So it
yes.
only makes sense to me that with whatever form that took in this time here on our plane of existence, it's still going to be connected to you whenever you move on to another plane of existence or they do before you. I like to take comfort in that thought, and not only for animals' sake, but just for anybody that I know that has passed on.
Yes.
Yes, completely. I completely agree.
Right.
Um, Tiff, I was like, passed on. Hit, hit, nudge, nudge. She's not close enough in the box. Um, but yes, so we are actually doing something really special today. If y'all listen to the host ghost stories, we do short ghost stories, and that's where you decide if the story is true or fake. So one of the women that have been telling some stories on there, Miss Sharon, we're actually going to bring her in, and she's going to bring her doggy. I don't know how much detail you want, but I'm going to bring her in, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All
Yeah,
right?
let's just go dry, and because
Yeah.
I need the rehearsal, quite honestly. So let's
Yes.
see what happens.
Yeah. All right, we can welcome in Miss Sharon and her doggy Diamond.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Sharon.
Hello.
I love your
She
doggy.
said,
I
"Hey."
know.
Hi. She wants to go back to sleep, y'all.
You woke her up.
She's like 13.
Aw.
Oh, good. I have better luck with older dogs. They've been around long enough to learn how to communicate much easier, I think. Um, did you have any questions for Diamond about really about anything? I want to see if there's anything that I can glean from Diamond.
Why does she cry so much? She
Uh,
whines all the time.
why does she whine all the time? Okay, I'm going to hold her up a little bit more, just so I can kind of get a good glance at her face, and ask her directly. Ask it, like a couple different ways. And even though she may not look like she's paying any attention, she is. She's listening to you.
Why do you whine so much, Diamond? Why do you always cry and whine? Why are you always upset? Okay.
The little bit I'm getting right now is that Diamond loves attention, and the whining, the noise that she's making gets her that attention. Uh, I don't think there's any one thing in particular. It is a she. I'm sorry, Diamond is a she.
Yes.
Yeah. The one thing that she is giving me is that she enjoys getting your attention. She enjoys holding your attention, and I think she's interested in just if you are or if you're looking at something else, whether it's like a television or your phone or something, I'm getting the impression that she's getting a little bit jealous of the attention not being on her. Um,
Well, she does it in the middle of the night when we're sleeping,
okay. Um,
and she moves around the bed doing it.
okay. So, hey, Diamond, can I talk with you? Hey, there you are. Okay. Diamond, what is distracting you at night? Is there something that is distracting you? Is it making you anxious? Not anxious. Um, well, you are sleepy. Let's see. What's making you cry out at night?
What makes you cry out at night, Diamond?
Yeah, she's working better with your voice. She's she's a little bored. Everybody's gone to sleep and she's still awake. And she's a little bored. I don't know you don't have any other animals, do you?
Yeah, I got a big red dog.
Oh, okay.
He's
Uh,
in the floor down there. He
okay,
has
so
no problems. He's just old.
he's just old. So he doesn't come up on the bed anymore or
Oh no, he's not allowed on the bed.
not allowed on the bed. Okay. Um, he has uh, your other dog started slowing down a little more then?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. That may be the source of the boredom then.
They
Usually
used to play.
they would interact a little bit more, and now he's slowing down a little bit, and I think she's getting a little bit bored, because there's not the play level that, even like the mental play level, 'cause, dogs will mentally challenge each other as well as chase each other and play. So, um, hmm, I always like to bring a solution, but for some reason, I'm not bringing one right now, and I don't like that. Um, I wanna think of a solution that will keep her engaged a little bit, maybe wear her out, but not wake you all up. I haven't even figured that out for my dogs. Uh, yeah, I usually just, have to wind up getting up in the middle of the night and moving to the front room to, appease my dog when he gets bored, but I don't think that's gonna be a good option for you all. Um, and like a squeaky toy or something like that's just gonna keep you all awake. That won't work.
She doesn't like squeaky toys.
Doesn't like squeaky toys anyway. Okay. Um, yeah, I wish I had a better answer as far as, like, what to do and what, because I don't think even she knows what would keep her interested, excited, keep her from getting too bored and too anxious and too restless at night. Um,
She
but,
loves to go to town, and I put her in the car, or my husband puts him in his truck, her truck, his truck, and she cries the whole way. And then it's like once we get everything done in town and we head home, she just stops and goes to sleep
really,
every single time.
ask her about that in particular because I have a feeling I don't think it's gonna be tied to the restlessness at night, though.
Diamond, why do you cry whenever we go to town and then when we head home you go to sleep? Do you have anything that are you excited or what?
Very. That's exactly what it is. Basically, when you guys load up in the car and go to town, we're going on an adventure. She turns into Frodo, the Hobbit. It's like we're going to go on an adventure. It's that's an exciting moment for her, and the whole time uh, she's she's looking forward to what's happening next. And then by the time you guys are coming back, she's worn herself out. Do you roll down the window for her at all?
Sometimes, just a little.
Just a little, just enough for the smells to come. Does she go and stick her nose out the window?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that she absolutely loves that in particular because she is, uh, when a dog you'll one of the favorite things dogs do is kinda stick their head out the window when you're driving, and the only reason for that is that dogs love smells. They love to categorize and find new smells, and when you're driving, they don't even have to sniff. It's just all flowing up their nose effortlessly so they can categorize at maximum efficiency. So
She
anytime you
sticks
guys are
her
kinda going pardon?
she sticks her nose at the air conditioner and sits there and smells at the
Yeah.
vent.
Yeah, anything that's drawing the air in from the outside, she's gonna be sniffing really hard, mainly because, all those new smells are very mentally stimulating, for her, and, so anytime that you guys are going anywhere, whether it's on a walk or on a car ride, she's trying to take in as much as she can and see if she finds some patterns. If you go the same way 2 or 3 times, she's gonna be smelling some of the same things over and over again. So she's going to try to categorize those and say, this is that, this is that, this is that dog I'm hearing barking down the street. This is that cat. This is that squirrel that runs up the maple that's 5 houses down. She's categorizing all those little things that she's smelling on the way there. But it's very, very stimulating, especially if it's all rushing into her nose at once. So yeah, by the time you guys are coming back,
Yeah.
she's worn out,
She
and,
wants to lay down and go to sleep right now.
that probably is, late enough in the day, probably, but I wish there was some way you could bottle that, though, for overnight. The only thing I could think to do, if you wanna try something a little bit different, is not really go anywhere other than just around the block or 2, but maybe try loading her up in the car, before bed and just drive for a couple of blocks with the window down so she can
No, I never
that
tried
mental
that.
stimulation, and then when you guys come back home, she might actually rest a little bit more through the night after she's had time to process all of that, but
Diamond, would you like to go for a ride before you go to bed every night? Would you like to get in the car every night
she'll
before you
go
go to bed?
anytime you want to, but if you time it late enough in the evening, maybe she'll fall asleep and stay asleep for much longer in the evening. At least that's what I would try if I were in your situation and if I had a dog that would not sleep through the night. Right now, I've got one that, but I know his problem. We have some alley cats that have given birth on our porch. So we've got 6 kittens mewling out on the front porch, and one of my dogs, Dodger, he so desperately wants to go out there and sniff them. And but when they start mewing at 3 in the morning, he will jump up and run off the bed and go bark at them, and the only way that I can calm him down is to crack the door open and let him pay attention to them for a little bit, let him get some barks out, but then we close the door and I go sit with him in the front room while he calms down, and eventually he's just worn himself out. So it's kind of a similar approach, I'm thinking, but in this case, Diamond's stimulation being the car ride and all the smells that she's picking up on that drive.
So
Awesome.
you're not getting much from her, huh?
It's yeah, she's just a little tired, and when she's tired, she's kind of more disfocused. But what little bit I've been able to kind of gather from her is that she's really wanting. Well, right now she's really wanting to nap. But when it comes to the overnight excitement, the main thing that I'm picking up is that there's just some boredom there, and if there's something that can be done to alleviate the boredom, she's probably going to be have a better chance of sleeping through the night.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we are so glad that y'all came on tonight. Thank y'all so much. This was definitely different from our normal spooky
It
tales.
really was, yeah.
Hope to have y'all back. I hope y'all have a spooky night. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything Miss Sharon wouldn't do.
Oh man.
Love you,
Yeah.
Oh,
ladies.
Love y'all.
Love
thank
you.
you.
Bye
And
bye.
don't forget, blessed be. And thank you, Diamond, especially. And tonight's
Oh,
episode, say bye. But tonight's episode was it was a nice change.
yes.
And thank you guys for being on. Love y'all. Blessed
Bye.
be.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me.
Love you.